Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
What's on Tap podcast, in your ear holes, playing live and loud, or not live, maybe pre-recorded and loud, for sure. And once again, joined by Martin.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be back again. I feel like I'm on a roll. Keep getting reinvited. Let's keep this Martin train running.
All right, I'm not sure how to deal with that, but we'll keep it going. We'll keep the party jamming nonstop. And again, you brought two very interesting beers to try side by side. So from De Molen, which is a very well-respected and well-regarded Dutch brewer. One of my favorite Dutch breweries. We have number 3000.
It's actually batch number 3000.
Batch number 3000. All right. It says batch number 3000, and it is a 26.3% Plato beer with a 14.6% alcohol by volume on both of these, and they are two barrel-aged black barley wine-ish. Barley wine-ish beers.
Why would you limit yourself to barley wine? Where you can make barley wine-ish.
Right. So these may or may not be barley wine style beers.
So they're barley wine-ish. But the first one is aged on white wine barrels.
Yes.
And the second one on Burgundy barrels.
Burgundy barrels. So red wine barrels, basically.
And this is the way to get re-invited to the show, is to bring you beer, basically.
You know, anytime you want to bring beer and come on the show and talk, more than glad to have you on the show. What's very interesting, this has the oldest best before date I think I've ever seen on a bottle. Would you like to guess the year?
The oldest, you mean the highest?
The highest.
2048.
Actually, very close. 2043.
What? Why would they? Did they put 35 years?
Yes.
My guess of 40 was like a high but logical one.
Yeah. So that's the oldest I think I've ever seen on a best before try wine. Now I just kind of want to go like. So these are bottled last year. We're drinking this way too young, apparently. We need at least a good 20 years on this before it's reaching its best by date. On these two.
So I guess that's the end of the episode. I'll see you in 20 years.
Yeah, we'll come back in 20 years and we have to rebottle these and then recork them. All right. So I don't get a lot of smell off of the white wine barrel aged.
No.
It's almost neutral smelling.
Yep.
But the red wine,
but it doesn't smell red wine. It smells like barley wine.
I get a bit of a red wine canyony kind of nose to it. It's like
sure.
This is one where your smelling notes have to come into play. If you smell towards the edge of the glass, the front edge, you get much more of the pungent aromas. Whereas if you move your nose across to the back of the glass, it's a different smelling experience. So that's one thing I've learned from smelling wines, where if you smell up close, you're going to get the most immediate smells that the beer presents. And then as you move your nose across the glass to the back of the glass, you're going to get the secondary and more subtle notes available to you.
That's really cool. No one has ever taught me that.
Yeah. So it's not like if you like wine smelling or wine tasting isn't so far different from beer tasting that you can't implement some of the same style or things.
So that's something we've all learned now, and knowing is half the battle.
There you go, G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Oh, this is one. All right, so let's start.
Let's actually try the white wine.
Let's start with the white wine, barrel aged. Not getting. I thought maybe you get like some oaky characters because maybe they used a white Chardonnay barrel, but this is probably. What do you call it? Like a Pinot Gris,
maybe,
or maybe they used a what's the German style?
Riesling,
or like a Riesling barrel, something like that, which isn't oaky kind of barrel. It's very clean and light style wine. Definitely get the wine notes off of the taste. There's a bit of a raisiny tartness to this.
A lot of raisins, but raisins are is a barley wine flavor for me, not necessarily a white wine barrel aged flavor.
No, but
it tastes a lot like a barley wine.
It does, but there is a booziness off of this that in the aftertaste, it tastes like I just had a glass of Chenin Blanc or Pinot Gris or something like that. It's a very winey aftertaste to it.
A little bit abrasive aftertaste.
Yeah. This the acidy kind of notes to it. Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I would say that the barrel aging really shines through on this.
Yeah.
I can't say that it's a good or a bad thing.
Not yet.
No. But you're definitely getting the young wine barrel aging out of it. If anything, it just tastes like I had a glass of wine. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I think we're drinking this too young. Honestly, I think we literally are drinking this about 5 years too young.
Yes.
For sure.
We've mentioned this before, haven't we? That if they didn't intend us to drink it now, why would they release it?
And that's well, I mean, they needed space.
It's your argument, right?
It's my argument. And it's an argument that I've heard mimicked on other beer platforms. It's like, well, look, if the brewery releases a beer, the beer should be at the state where they think it's where it needs to be able to drink it. It shouldn't be that, oh, we're releasing this beer now, but really you should wait another 3 to 5 years before you drink it. Because for me, that just it questions the credibility of a brewery.
Yes.
And then it questions the quality of the product they're putting out.
Yes.
If they're saying that even now, it's not, the beer's not at its peak, it's not what it should be. And this is not to say that these big New England style IPAs that get put out and you have to drink them you within 2 weeks or else they're garbage. I think that's too extreme on the other side.
Yes.
Where I think beers should have a decent shelf life to them. I mean, within a 2-month window of first release is kind of acceptable for a lot of stuff. Well, there's a lager or an IPA or a Berliner Weiss, some of those sours, kind of lighter things. Whereas the other side, where you've got like pastry stouts, which have so many adjuncts added to them that you have to kind of drink them fresh because a lot of those adjuncts just fade away really fast.
Yeah, and the beer becomes something completely different.
Right. And you just don't get the same kind of experience or quality because it's not like we had this Mexican biscotti wedding cake break.
Right, yeah.
And it had like habaneros and almonds and cocoa and coffee and vanilla and all of those really dominant flavors like the chili and the coffee and things like that. Those are kind of completely faded away. So all they were left was just kind of chocolatey vanilla stout. And it was just like, no, this should have been drunk fresh.
Yeah.
For sure. But these, like barley wines for me, they need to age.
Yes.
I don't think there's some places that do really good fresh barley wines, but there are not a lot of those places.
No, but moving back to these beers, this is completely drinkable. It's good.
Yeah.
You're talking about the optimal. Like the peak. Yeah. And I'm completely fine with a brewery putting out something that's good or good plus, but it can get even better. That's fine. It's the ones that go like, oh, you shouldn't drink it now.
Yeah.
That's what...
No, I think this is a really good beer. This, for me, falls in that problem that I have with a lot of barley wines. There's so much raisiny up front that all I get is just like, I'm just eating a big handful of raisins.
Yep.
So that's why I like to age out barley wines in particular. I don't think any barley wine is usually off the shelf ready, just because it's the nature of the style of the beer. But, I mean, this is a really, really good one. I think it's a very...
But here I have to question you, because when aging barley wines, I feel like more raisins appear after age.
I think it becomes like... becomes more rounded.
Okay.
It takes like... This is more of a raw like fresh, just handful of raisins out of a package kind of flavor to me. And then after 3 or 4 years, it becomes a little bit more of a rounded kind of nuanced flavor and not as much. You get more into that kind of date, candied fruit kind of flavor and less just pure like, oof, raisin.
Okay, I can wrap my head around that.
All right, I don't want to rate this one yet. I don't want to rate the white wine barrel aged. Just jump over to the Burgundy again. And it's it definitely smells like a Pinot Noir.
It smells a lot more.
Red wine, barrel-aged beer. All right. Cheers. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a tangy aftertaste that I connect with the red wine. If it's tannins or if it's just acid, I don't know. There's an acidity, not a sourness, an acidity.
Well, I like the color on these. I mean, it's a black barley wine. I don't know what makes it black. Maybe a roastier malt build.
I think so.
Excuse me. Because a lot of barley wines are much lighter in color and much more of a caramelly kind of coming up. This is definitely black, but I'm not getting a roastiness off of the malt build on this.
No. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the back of the label, and as you said, 35 years. I like the fact that they put a day and a month on that. It's not just 2043, it's the 14th of September 2043. Like, that's the exact day.
Yeah.
Like that bam.
Like if you were to have it on the 15th, you would be in for a world of hurt. But the 14th, it's just going to be amazing.
Yeah. 15th is a drain pour.
Yeah. I think both these are really good. These are the most wine-flavored beers. Outside of
some certain sours.
Well, I was thinking I was thinking more like a Bière de Garde or there's a style that you age in champagne barrels inside caves in France. But McKellar makes one called something Wish List or something like that. No, Windtail. Windtail is the name of it. Windtail 12 or something like that.
It's like a record?
Yeah.
Vinyl. Like vinyl. Is that not it?
Vinyl, yeah. That's what it's called. Yeah, I call it wine L.
Yeah, but it's like a pun on vinyl.
Yeah, it's vinyl, and that's the one that's made in this. Because basically, you brew the beer, and then you age it like a champagne.
Yeah,
and that's got a very vinous kind of
that's pretty cool
character to it. But this literally tastes like it was aged in wine barrels. So I can completely, and you can very, I think, distinctly tell the Burgundy from the white wine, which I did not think you would get from these.
There's a bigger difference than I expected myself.
This is our second time we've done side-by-side barrel-aged beers on the show with you.
We've done it before.
Yeah.
But this is the way I like to try these kind of beers, because if a brewer releases a lot of different beers with not necessarily different ingredients, there are many brewers that make a core stout and then they make a licorice version and a cinnamon version and a vanilla version, whatever. That's not really, those go in such different directions. But when it's one beer and just different barrel agings, those are the times when I want to try them side by side, because. Like last week, we tried the King's Brewery barrel-aged beer, and we didn't know what the regular one tasted like.
Yeah.
And I still walk around with the feeling that, oh man, that was a mistake to just buy the barrel-aged one. I've looked, and this one, the batch 3000 doesn't exist in a non-barrel-aged version. Okay. And that's fine. I might be wrong, however. But I think this is the correct way to try these, because it tastes more like white wine and more like Burgundy wine.
Yeah. As for ratings, I think I'm going to give the white wine version. Just tough. A 3.5.
Oh, it's a 4 for me.
And I'm giving the Burgundy barrel aged a 4.
Interesting, because this is I feel the opposite.
Yeah.
The Burgundy is getting a 3.75, not a 3.5. But it's interesting that our ratings are.
And I think it's just your general preference to wine styles.
I think so too.
And don't get me wrong, I love white wine. I will get white girl wasted on white wine any day of the week. I will get hammered as shit on white wine. I love white wine, but I think when it comes to complexity, characters, notes, the Burgundy just gives me a little bit more. But that's why I was like, do I want to give it a 3.5 or 3.75? It's really there on the line. It's really, really good. These are very, very close in style. I think, it just falls down to, are you more of a white wine girl or a Burgundy girl?
Maybe. I do agree that the Burgundy red wine is more complex, but I feel like the white wine is more well blended together. It's like a marriage of flavors instead of a battle of flavors. The red wine, 2 different flavors competing.
I think I see where you're going there, but I think what sells me on the red wine is the white wine. I get the alcohol heat. I get that. I get all of the 14% in the alcohol burn kind of from it. Whereas I think that the 14.6% is a little more subtle. It's not quite hitting you when you breathe out. I don't get this huge wave of alcohol.
And I feel the exact opposite.
All right. Well, it's just a personal difference of it. I mean, again, we're not like huge differences in our
but here I think it's not necessarily the alcohol. I think it's what we associate certain flavors with. And the red wine aftertaste, when I breathe out the Burgundy one, I think I relate that to alcohol.
Okay.
I have no better explanation.
I can see that.
You related to flavor, and I related to alcohol.
Okay.
But it's fun. This is we're not supposed to always agree.
No, that's good. All right, you can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify.
Subway graffiti?
Sure, I hope so. Somewhere out there.
Yeah.
Subway graffiti in Berlin, probably. You can find us on, we already said all that. So until next time.
Keep drinking, you dum-dum.
There you go.